Stamped by Jason Reynolds and Ibram Kendi is a young adult adaptation of a 2016 National Book Award winning for nonfiction book called Stamped from the Beginning, The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America by Ibram Kendi. I am very interested in how ideas are formed and how ideas are spread. While reading Stamped from the Beginning, it was fascinating to read how racist ideas got started in America and how they continued in order for white people to maintain political and economic power. And it was fascinating to see how racist ideas have survived to this day. When Jason Reynolds and Ibram Kendi teamed up to write a young adult adaptation of that book, I knew I wanted to read that one too. The first lines in Stamped talk about how this is not a history book. Now, it talks about history and important historical figures throughout the book. So how is it not a history book? Well, it's not a history book in the sense that it seeks to explain the situation that we are in now. It seeks to explain why racist ideas still persist in today's America. It seeks to clarify ideas and policies that continue to support racism, and to clarify ideas that will help us end racism. One of the things I love about Stamped is that it shows that there's more complexity around racism than what we're traditionally taught in our schools. In school, we learn about segregationist thinking and assimilationist thinking. Segregationist thinking supports the idea of keeping races separate. Segregationist ideas supported slavery and Jim Crow laws after slavery ended, all designed to ensure that black people were treated as less than human. Assimilationist thinking supports the idea of getting all people from all ethnic backgrounds to behave like white people. Assimilationist ideas are those ideas that support thinking like, if only black people would change themselves to be more like white people, then black people would be thought of as fully human. Jason Reynolds and Ibram Kendi point out that we've all been encouraged to think about racism in that binary, assimilationist versus segregationist. The most famous historical figures that we learn about in school usually fall into these two categories. But the problem with that binary is that segregationists and assimilationists both support racism. Both ways of thinking allow racism to continue to be part of our society today. The authors point out that there's actually another way to think about racism outside of that dusty old binary, and that other way of thinking is called anti-racism. Now, it's not like anti-racism is new. There have been anti-racists as long as there have been racists. However, anti-racism challenged and continues to challenge political and economic power structures, and those power structures do not like to be disrupted. People in power want to keep their power, so anti-racist ideas have had a tough time catching on in America. But Jason Reynolds and Ibram Kendi encourage us to recognize anti-racism as the path forward for making the dream of human equality in America a reality.